2, 3. Up, up, up to a higher place. Up, 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 far beyond this time and space. Up, up, up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Up, up to a higher place. Up, up, far beyond this time and space. Up, up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more forward, no more backward, no more spinning around and around. My life is moving ever upward. My feet are leaving the ground. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more downward, no more darkness, no more wondering the point of it all. My life is destined over greatness. My soul has answered the call. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. All right, you may be seated. Good morning, everybody. I am Reverend Michael Everett Davis. Welcome to Unity of Indianapolis. Whether you're in the room, just walking into the room, trying to find a place to sit, good luck. There are very few empty seats, but I'm sure you'll find the perfect one. All right, and if you're watching on Facebook Live, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for letting us into your home this morning. Please join me in affirming our statement of truth. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place and in all places and all people. Knowing and accepting this, we bless all people, no matter their race, color, creed, abilities, gender identification, or expression of love. Knowing that there are many paths to God, many names for God, many faces of God, but only one God. And this God is expressing through all creation in many, many ways. We come here together today, whether in person or watching on Facebook Live, to experience and express the Christ Spirit that dwells within each of us. And so it is, Amen. Now we're ready to share today's reading of the Daily Word. I invite you to take these words of spirit and divine alignment. Thank you, Ed.
The word for today is realize. I realize the power of spiritual truth. I've had many aha moments throughout my life when something that had befuddled me for years suddenly becomes clear. It may have been something I tried to learn in school, a skill I practiced and tried to master as I grew, or even an idea that challenged my understanding of the world around me. Whenever I realized something new, I could feel my world expanding, opening up before me in fresh and exciting ways, making me eager to discover even more. On my spiritual journey, I feel a similar excitement as I realize I have so much more than a spark of divinity within me. I am fully divine, just as I am fully human. I feel newly alive in this realization, and so very grateful for it. And from Genesis 28:16, then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." And if you will join me now in reading our monthly affirmation on understanding, I will say it first, and then we can all say it together. With spiritual understanding, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good. Let's say that together. With spiritual understanding, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good. Now let's say it again and mean it. With spiritual understanding, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good. Ooh, I felt that, yes. And let us now prepare for our opening meditation and prayer with Michael Wright.
Michael, use your handheld microphone.
Okay. It's alive. Good morning and welcome. We are blessed to be here together in this sacred space. So as we pull ourselves away from the busyness of the world around us, let us come to center in the knowing that we are a divine presence. And each of us has a purpose for being here. Each of us is essential in knitting together a beautiful tapestry of love and faith and grace. And as you breathe in that very breath of Mother, Father, Creator God, allow it to relax your body. In these moments, we pull ourselves away and into that inner sanctuary that is ours. And here we experience our spiritual mindfulness. We feel our connection with the wisdom and love of Mother, Father, Creator God. So if it's comfortable for you for the next few moments, I ask that you allow my words to speak for you. With everything that's happening around the world, the floods, the fires, the situation in Surfside, Florida, we realize that concentration can feel elusive when there's too many things that tug on our attention. Sometimes it causes us to feel scattered. It becomes difficult to perform any task to completion, and time is always bearing down and can cause us to feel tense and unhappy. Today, let us resolve to make a new choice. Let us focus our attention wholeheartedly and mindfully. Observe what is around us. We might begin by immersing ourselves in the deep colors of the sunrise. And as we draw that fresh morning air into our lungs and exhale fully, and then as we nourish ourselves with healthy food, let's take time and slowly savor each bite. As we give our fullest attention to our tasks, errands, and conversations, time expands. Faith is the power that frees us to let go of personal control. There's comfort in knowing that we do not have to manage our own way through everything. A wise grandmother once told her grandson, "Don't boss the job." She was telling him to trust his indwelling spiritual power. That perfect power of his divinity would direct him to perfect outcomes. His only call to action was to yield to that power. So let us feel ourselves relax into the flow that comes from being fully present. And spend time in the knowing that mindfulness sets us free. Let us rest for a few moments in that thought. Mindfulness sets us free. Yes, sweet Spirit, now we yield ourselves to our spiritual source. In this very moment, we trust our highest and best outcomes as they unfold. It is with faith that we surrender and find ourselves guided in ways that may surprise us. Today we release our need to have everything figured out in advance. And calling upon this faith and centeredness, we trust in the perfection, intelligence, and love of the divine that flows in and through us. And for this, We are grateful. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you. Amen and namaste.
All righty. Let's meet and greet everybody. Just stand up, turn around, say hi, howdy, namaste, I behold the Christ in you, all that good stuff. Air hugs, big high fives. Awesome. Go ahead and be seated. Andy. Now turn it down. This wasn't on. Okay. This is the candle lighting part of the service. This is still buzzing, Kent. This is a very sacred moment. When things go wrong, it's natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. But still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control. And still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. But at this moment I remember, it comes so clear to me, that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where time goes, God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go. 'Cause God knows. God knows. God knows. God knows and has set me up for all kinds of things this morning. So I will go with the flow. God knows why I forgot to change the keyboard to make that in a lower key. The last time I had talked to Daniel Naaman, and I said that I like to sing that song, but I have to lower it because I can't sing it that, as high as you wrote it. And he was like, I don't sing it that high anymore either. So today I did, okay. Today's talk is dangerous. Spiritual discretion is advised. Some of what I share today is coming from a blog by Natalie Snyder, an article that I read on truthunity.net by Mark Hicks, the January 15th, 1967 episode of Charles Ross' Unity Viewpoint radio show, my interpretation, my own thoughts. So what I'm about to say may be shocking. Hold on tight. You ready? Suffering is real. Suffering is real. It is not an illusion. Stuff happens. I could say that with an SH word instead. Stuff happens. Tornadoes, hurricanes, cancer, losing a job, divorces, accidents, abuse, building collapses, pandemics. The list goes on and on. And many may ask, why did God let this happen? If God is good and powerful, how can these awful things happen to good people? I'll get to that later. 2 weeks ago, I stood up here and I talked about icebergs and how we can use the iceberg model to help us see patterns and structures in our lives that create the events that are happening in our lives, the events that we see on the surface. And last week, Ed asked us to see what life would be like in someone else's shoes, to look at life from a different perspective, and to live a life of empathy and compassion. As we continue to learn to understand our power of understanding, today I want to look at understanding our suffering. The great teacher and author Zen Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh, wrote a book called No Mud, No Lotus. In a blog by Natalie Snyder, she wrote this about this book. This particular teaching focuses on the acceptance of the presence of suffering. Thich Nhat Hanh stresses the consciousness of suffering is the first step in living a happy life. If one is consistently denying the presence of suffering, one can never truly experience. So again, it's that being aware of your suffering, acknowledging, yes, I'm experiencing something. That's your first step to getting through and being happy, is to acknowledge it. I know we do a lot of denials here. We, as a part of Unity teachings, is denial, but we're not denying the thing that is there. What we're denying is the power that it has over us. And we affirm how we react to that. So if we're constantly denying the experiences that we're having, then we're not going to experience them. And isn't that our purpose? We've said it bajillion times. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. If we deny those things, then we're not having that human experience, right? And that's what we're here for. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "Most people are afraid of suffering, but suffering is the kind of mud to help the lotus flower of happiness grow. There can be no lotus flower without the mud. You must have darkness in order to see light. You must have the mud to grow the lotus flower. In order to study the art of happiness, we have to understand the significance of suffering. Even those situations that make life feel unfair and purposeless, in every situation, especially the darker ones, there is something to be taken. It might be a lesson, a memory, an awareness, or a reminder that life is truly fragile. A fragility that solidifies the beauty and gratitude we all hold within ourselves." So the next time you're stuck in traffic and you find yourself mad, look at the lesson there. I need to slow down and relax into it. Instead of being mad at the people in front of you for not moving faster, take that as it's like, I needed this time to sit and reflect. And as Bob Sima wrote in his song, No Mud, No Lotus, everything you go through grows you. So like the iceberg model that shows you the patterns and structures that lead to an event, the No Mud, No Lotus concept helps you transform your suffering into beauty and gratitude. I recently read an article written by Mark Hicks. He wrote it in 2017, and it's titled "Unity and Christianity: Why Does God Allow Evil and Suffering?" Mark states that when the question is asked, why would a loving God allow tragedy to happen? When no satisfactory answer comes, the conclusion is often made that either God is not loving or that God has no power. So the problem of evil often leads to a rejection of religion and a life of faith. He continues to say, Unity is especially vulnerable to this type of question because our central claim that there is one power and one presence, God the good, omnipotent. In other words, we proclaim that God is both loving and powerful. We make that proclamation the center of our faith. He says, I'm not sure that Unity's answer to this problem of evil is any better than that of Judeo-Christian religion. However, he says, I believe that Unity is much better equipped to deal with the problem of evil than mainstream Christianity. The reason is so because of what we have come to know as the third Unity principle. which is thoughts create experiences. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. We're co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. Say it with me. Thoughts held in mind create after their kind. Aha! Let these spiritual malpractices begin. I brought this on myself. I had negative thoughts. I did this to myself, right? We kick ourselves. I shouldn't have thought that. I brought on that hurricane because my faith was not strong enough. No, that's not what it's saying. The third principle says, where did it go? Thoughts create experiences, not events. Events are created by structures and things that happen in our life. That's how an event happens. But the third principle is our thought creates the experience. Mark says in the article, when I ask, why did God allow me to get cancer, I'm really asking about the physical world of conditions. Okay? I am not a physician or a scientist, but cancer happens from a series of events and structures in a person's DNA in their body, and it manifests as that. It had nothing to do with what you're thinking. Okay? You don't bring that upon yourself. There's a history in Unity where, yes, Unity leaders weren't supposed to be sick. Okay? That's spiritual malpractice. The world of conditions, I told you today is dangerous. I might say something. The world of conditions would be the perceived mud, the gunk that we're going through. So that's your world of conditions. It is real. You are going through it. It is happening. It's not an illusion, like we like to say in New Thought teachings and New Age teachings and thinking. We do not create conditions nor tragedy by the activity of our thinking. What we create by the activity of our thinking is the quality of response we make to the conditions, which would be the mental world of, and I bolded this and used all caps, experiences. So when I ask, how can God transform this tragedy into good? I am then talking about the mental world of, let's say it with me, experiences. Here at Unity, we recite every Sunday, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. In his article, Mark says, no condition, and no tragedy, from the common cold to unthinkable abomination, is outside the realm of God to be transformed into greater good. No condition. None. A stub to toe to buildings collapsing. Okay? Nothing is outside of God that can be transformed into our greater good when we align with God and apply our Christ-like nature to the condition. You follow me on that? When we align ourselves with God and apply our Christ-like nature to the condition, then there is nothing that cannot be created into your greater good. In the Sunday, January 15th, 1967 episode of Charles Roth's Unity Viewpoint radio show, Reverend Roth speaks about the promises of the Bible. He says that the majority of Bible verses are actually promises. He wrote this, for instance, if we were to turn to Isaiah 26:3, we would read, "Thou dost keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusts in thee." he says there's a conditional promise that we will be kept in perfect peace. Roth says, if we think of it as a conditional promise when we read the Bible, we get an entirely new approach to the Bible and to its application in our lives. So if we look, when we're looking to read in this ancient text of the Bible and look for those promises, look for the conditions as well. So again, this verse says, "Thou dost keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusts in thee." He points out that this does not say that God will keep everyone in perfect peace. Everybody has perfect peace. I'm God. Boom. You have perfect peace. I'm Oprah. You have perfect peace. Everybody gets perfect peace. You can have perfect peace if you fulfill the condition. So it says that in order for you to have perfect peace, you must have this condition, which is, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he has trust in thee. When you keep your mind on God, when you keep your mind on spirit, Ricky Byers-Beckwith woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Okay? I wasn't intending to sing that, but in that song, wake up in the morning with your mind stayed on spirit. Your day is going to go much better because you're keeping your mind on spirit because you have faith. You have faith that there is a higher power that loves you and is taking care of you. I sang the Daniel Naaman song this morning. It's called "I Don't Need to Know." That song is about complete surrender. It's surrendering to the power of God, to the power of the universe, the power of spirit. It is knowing and understanding that when you are centered in and as God, you are at peace, knowing it is not in your control. Sometimes it's hard to be at peace when you don't feel like you're in control. I understand that. Sometimes it feels like I'm out of control, and I just need to be in control of this, and then I will be at peace. Let go. If you find yourself in that place, let go. Let go, let God. Be in that Christ-centered place and allow what needs to happen. I have a quote. Carol, will you do the quote slide for me? Faith is the withholding of conclusion so that you allow what is to arise. This showed up to me this week, and I was like, wow, that's what I'm talking about today. It's the withholding of the conclusion. It is the complete letting go of any expectations, any perceived notions that you had on what things should be or how it should be, and let it be. Let it be what it is supposed to be. This also reminds me of Philippians 4:13, which reads, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." This is when I cry. I know that verse because of my mother. She says this often. I was trying to figure out how long ago it was. It was probably about 15 years ago. My mother got the news that no one wants to hear, and that she had cancer. Not only was it cancer, it was pancreatic cancer. Many know that as a death sentence. To put it in perspective, my mom was diagnosed around the same time as Patrick Swayze. And Patrick is no longer with us and has not been with us for many, many, many years. My mom got the diagnosis. She was like, okay, well, let's get rid of it. Take it out. What do we need to do? She was in Florida at the time, and they were like, where's the best doctors? And they said, IU Hospital in Indianapolis. And my mom looked at my dad and said, I guess we're going home. And they called from Florida and made an appointment, and they had enough time to drive up and make her appointment. But they tried to make it 6 months later, and she said, I don't have that time. But she never had that, why is this happening to me? I never heard her say that. Why is this happening to me? What I heard her say is, I have to read it, sorry. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. She had a faith that allowed her to let go of the diagnosis and just do what the doctors needed to do and to pray and do that. She went through the surgery, she had the chemotherapy, she did the radiation, and the cancer was gone. Several years later, thyroid cancer. Again, never, why is it happening to me? It's like, through Christ, things make me strong. A few years ago, lung cancer. Same story. Not why is this happening to me? It's through Christ, everything, if I go through everything through Christ, that is what gives me the strength. She stayed God-centered. Never did she say, why is this happening to me? Even after 3 different types of cancer, she never said, why is this happening to me? I just tell her, I was like, you're not supposed to die from cancer. That's just not your thing. But through Christ, through being God-centered, Christ-centered, that's what gives us the strength and to rely on our faith, to surrender to that. You can go ahead and go back to the next slide. The things that happen in our lives are what makes us the beautiful lotus flowers that we are. Mark Hicks wrote, "We are one with God. We are by nature compassionate and good, and that we are empowered by our unity with God to transform all conditions to the perfect image and likeness that emanates from God mind." We are not called to ask, why did this happen? But rather ask, how can this be transformed into good? How can we heal? How can we empower? How can we love? For some people who have been dealt a similar deck as my mother may have completely lost faith. It's like, I keep getting cancer and just completely lose faith. My mother's faith got stronger. That's a good that happened through all of this. She knows that she has the strength to go through this because she stays Christ-centered. Mark Hicks shared a story in this article. It was a video of somebody, I'm assuming it was Mark telling the story, but it's the story about this mother whose young son, probably a teenager, was shot and killed by another boy about the same age. And at the trial, he was convicted and received his sentence. And as he was being taken away, the mother of the victim looked at him and said, "I'm going to kill you." And he went to jail. A few weeks later, she sent him some money so that he could buy cigarettes, he could buy whatever he needed to do, and continued to send him money. Then she started visiting him and talking to him. And shortly before his release, a few years later, she said, "I have a friend who owns a business. When you get out, you're going to work for him." And then the day that he was released, she was the one that went and picked him up. And she says, "I know that you have no place to go. You have no home. I have an empty room. You will stay with me while you are working for my friend." And then a few months later, she was talking to him, and she said, "Do you remember what I said to you in the courtroom? I'm going to kill you." And he said, "Yeah." She was like, "That boy is dead. You are not the same person that you were. That boy is dead, and my son is dead. I have an extra room in my house. you can live here. You can stay here. And she adopted him. So in a way, she brought her son back to life. She transformed that horrible, awful, tragic situation into, not only did she save her life as to not get sucked into the sorrow of the death of her son, she transformed that other young man's life and made him her son and loved him unconditionally. Suffering is not an illusion. People suffer. Our world is suffering. We can change how the world experiences the suffering by interacting with the world while staying centered in and as God. We have the power to transform tragedy into greater good. So when you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're suffering, remember to not ask, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? What am I to learn? How can I grow through this? And so I'm going to share a song with you. It is called No Mud, No Lotus, and it is by Bob Simon.
No mud, no lotus. Haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past? The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions you needed to ask. The sleepless nights and the dizzying heights and the dreams, some of which came true. Tough breaks, heartaches, perfect mistakes created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you. Grows you. And everything you go through grows you. Exposes who you are. If it hurt, it made you softer. If it was hard, it fueled the hunger. If it touched you, your heart took hold. If it was simple, it made you wise. If it was sweet, it made you smile. Weaved an indelible impression on your soul. Your feet, they walked, and your lips, they talked, and your hands dug around for the proof. Every look, every book, picture in your mind that you took created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you. Grows you. And everything you go through grows you. Exposes the roots of an endless summer, part-time temporary lovers, and the swoon of the deep blue sky. And as the time flew, you planted and gathered your truth as it passed before your eyes. And the wound is where the light gets in, revealing the masterpiece just beneath the skin. But in the glow of your own light, Your petals open wide, and you bloom right where you are. And everything you go through grows you, grows you. And everything you go through grows you, expose who you are. No man, no Lotus, haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past? The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions you needed to ask.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Again, we are so blessed every day. So now is the time to prepare for our love offering. I invite you to go to our website, unitofindy.org, and donate online, or if you'd rather, mail a check to Unity of Indianapolis at 907 North Delaware, 46202. And as you prepare your offering, we'd like to acknowledge any first-timers and also Facebook Live folks. So type your name into the chat box and let us know that you're here. You're here by divine appointment, and we celebrate your presence with us and invite you back. Is there anyone here for the first time? That's William. Thank you, William, for being here. We hope you felt blessed today. And now, as you take your offering in your hand or visualize your gift, I invite you to hold it in heart-centered intention as we affirm our blessing over our offering. Together, divine love, working through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive. And there's a basket on your way out to drop that. Just a couple of announcements. We had the board meeting this afternoon. Today's message is very appropriate because we've had a little mud to go through with things, but we talked with the bank last week. The underwriting process is looking favorable. And last week we also got a letter regarding a possible bequest. And that we got a possible bequest.
Oh, the bequest.
Yes. So more information to come next week. We also had, Sue and I had our conference call with Recovery Cafe yesterday. And, you know, it's just great to have them here and present. They have partnered with Keep Indianapolis Beautiful and spent part of last week cleaning up around the church. They let us know they collected 7 big trash bags of garbage around the church. So we'd like to acknowledge them for that. And also they wanted us to let you know that on August 14th, that's a Saturday, they're having a celebration and cookout in the parking lot from 1:30 to 3:30. There'll be music, food trucks. It's going to be a great celebration, and they ask us to participate. So mark that day in your calendar. And we're grateful Recovery Cafe is here with us. August 14th, Saturday, 1:30 to 3:30. So mark your calendars, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, can I make one more announcement too? We haven't gotten very far with planning this, but we're going to have our first potluck in like a year and a half, I guess, on the first Sunday in August, which, Michael, correct me, is it the 4th of August?
August 1st.
August 1st.
It is the first day of August.
It is the 1st of August. I wasn't very prepared for this today, but we'll be having a potluck. I will, on the Unity of Indie Spiritual Network page, I will be posting, there's an app we used to use called Perfect Potluck, and you can go on there. It's going to be a salad Sunday at the recommendation of Sue Phillips. She always likes the salad Sundays. So you can bring a fruit salad, a meat salad, a vegetable salad, any kind of salad you want, but we'll have people sign up just so we don't have 10 fruit salads and nothing else show up.
Right.
Some people might want to bring some dinner rolls or crackers. Some people might want to bring drinks, but I will have that ready sometime this week online. If you're not online and you want to bring something, just let me know. I haven't reached out yet to Leisha to see if she may want to participate in this or not. She hasn't been here in person for a while. We do need some volunteers, though. Normally, as you all know, we would have our own Sean Somerville in the kitchen, and while we're in here having our service, he would be diligently getting everything ready back there, and we would walk into the friendship room, and there it would be magically for us. And as we know, he is no longer with us. Makes us appreciate him even more and all that he has done for us in the kitchen. We will, however, need a couple of people. Yeah. We will need a couple people to step forward if possible. I'll be in here doing music, so I won't be able to be in there. So I will be organizing who brings what, but I'll need someone to go back there and just kind of uncover things and get things ready. Probably at least half an hour before the service ends. So thank you.
And if you're worried about missing what's going on in here, we're going to have the service playing in there as well. We'll have Facebook Live up on, there's a TV in the bookstore.
Yeah.
We're going to hook it up to a computer, and so you won't miss the service.
Oh, wonderful.
Is that it? Yes. So she's new to the area. She would like to, if anybody's interested in a group study up on the north side. Okay, around 116th in town, so like up in Carmel, right? So we can get that together.
And
awesome.
What's your name, please? Osa Schulte. Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, and I neglected to say, my mom's still around and here and with us and alive and well. So.
Yay!
So-
Yay, Nina! Yay, Nina!
She's awesome. So is my dad. He just had a stent put in on Friday, so he's doing well as well. All right, let's stand up. It's time for the peace song. Hold hands if you want. Sanitize before and after. All right. Let's envision the whole world standing hand to hand, heart to heart, and soul to soul. Family on we protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I am blessed. I am blessed. Every day of my life, I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Every day of my life, I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. All right, have a good week, everybody.